Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us, pressing play. My name is Jesse Hill. I'm the president at Tier 3 IT Solutions, and we're kicking off another episode of Phishing Friday. And I'm happy to have a new co-host with me here today. Adam, why don't you introduce yourself really quick?
I would love to. My name is Adam Hodasik, and I am a technology alignment manager here at Tier 3 IT Solutions.
Awesome. Great to have you. Today, we're going to be talking about the role of malware in phishing. So we've got a lot of techie terms in there. And so really the concept here is we want to talk about how attackers are using malware and phishing to steal data and gain unauthorized access to our computers and networks. So first of all, Adam, do you want to help explain what is malware and how does it get onto our computers?
I would love to. So, malware is a shortened form of malicious software. Really, malware is anything that isn't what it claims to be and allows someone to gain unauthorized access to something like a computer system, a computer network, email accounts, bank accounts, any of those things that could provide valuable information that could then be sold or used to help the attacker to gain money. One of the common ways that malware ends up on a system would be through phishing.
Phishing with a PH. So email phishing. And, I guess more often than not, when we think about malware, malicious software, it's not coming to us as an attachment. It's traditionally, in a phishing email, there will be a link. And when we follow that link out of the email, it takes us to a web page. And, the interesting thing, a lot of people have never really, I guess, thought about how browsing the internet works. But in its most simple form, when you open a web browser and you type in an address, cbc.ca, you have requested all of the code, all of the content, all of the information from that page to be transported onto your computer and displayed. So what the bad actors, the people out there that are trying to gain access will do is they will embed their code into a compromised site, or they'll make it so that it looks like you want to download something that they've made available, whether it's a report or a free software. And Adam and I, we talked about this a little bit before. Um, let's maybe dig into the whole concept of free software.
With much of the free software on the internet, there there is no such thing as a free lunch, so someone has to pay for it somewhere. What the malicious actor is trying to do, the bad actor, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you to pay for it through data on your computer, through access to your bank account, through access to your company email.
Yeah, and when I think of free software, there are good examples of it, right? As an example, Adobe Acrobat. They have a free version that allows you, a certain number of features. And they show all of the other features on the side. And if you want to use them, they pop up and tell you, hey, if you upgrade your subscription, you start paying for this, you will gain access to, that software and those features. And so that's an example of a free software that we all trust. We know, we understand that model. Where the bad actors come into play is usually when they're giving you software that does something competitive for free. So as an example, if there was a PDF editor not made by Adobe that represents that it's going to do all of the features you might get in a paid version of Acrobat. Well, yeah, you have to start asking yourself, how is this being created and hosted and shared and kept up to date. Well, it takes developers and it takes money to build software. So if they're giving you something that other companies have to charge you to provide, your thought process should be around, well, okay, how are they ultimately paying for this? There's a very famous quote that, if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product, meaning they're capturing something from you that is adding value. Now, in the worst cases, this malicious software, it's actually designed when you download one of those free programs, there's actually other software that's getting installed at the same time. What do you see some of those, little freebie programs trying to do to people's computers and networks?
One of the things that I've never been a fan of is when software is bundled with other free software. Typically, when I go and download something that I intend to use that I trust, they bundle this software, and sometimes you have no idea what it does. Some of that bundled software can do things such as log your keystrokes. So anything that you type into your keyboard, it gets copied and then funneled off to some third-party server somewheres that then bad actors can then take that information and use it to, say, sign into your bank account. In some of the most egregious examples, there are cases where it includes what's referred to as remote management and monitoring tools, something that in and of itself is designed to help an IT provider keep your computers and your systems secure, but can also be used by a bad actor when it's bundled and used maliciously to effectively copy all of your data or encrypt it all and hold it for ransom.
And those are the extreme cases, but unfortunately, we see it happen. And sometimes it's not even so much that somebody, you know, has installed software that they shouldn't. Sometimes they've visited a website that's popped up a message that says, oh, it looks like you're having a problem with your computer. Call this number and we'll give you some support. And they, install remote access software that gets, left behind, leaves a back door. And so ultimately, because we're trying to talk to small business owners, I guess the advice that we would want to give is that when we think about our computer systems and our network, it's really important that we know what programs are installed on the computers, that we've restricted programs that shouldn't be on the network, because ultimately these computers that we give our staff, they are tools to do a job. So much like a physical tool, if we give someone a drill, we don't want them doing, using it as a hammer. That's not what it's intended for.
Not going to work so well.
When we give somebody a computer to do, spreadsheets and documents and, client services, we don't want them running, free games, and we don't want them running torrents, ripping movies off the internet. So I know we kind of took a bunch of different courses here, but ultimately the point of this particular episode is to make sure that you and your staff are aware when you are clicking on a link, visiting a web page, installing software. We really need to be cautious about the source of the software, the type of the software, what's included with it. And when in doubt, just don't.
Always better to not click that button and not take the risk than it is to click the button and see what happens.
Yeah. Give us a call and let us know what you're looking to do, and we'll be able to give you some advice on that. So thanks everybody for joining us for another episode of Phishing Friday. We'll have another one coming out very soon. So thanks again. Have a great day.
Thanks for having me.